Shalom, this is Apostle Rakab, back with another impromptu video. I say all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. All praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem L'Kakwadash. And I say Salakia, man. It's been like 2 days since I've been able to get a video up because I was having some, these devils, man, they try to zap your pages. And for whatever reason, I was having some issues with my page, man. It wasn't allowing me to plug in, so yesterday and the day before, I wasn't able to actually get videos in. Salakia, man, you gotta always keep feeding the flock. But today, I woke up and I messed with it, and the spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai allowed my feed. They were messing with my feed. I guess that's the best way to describe it. But hey, the water Yahweh Shai, I'm back online. So of course I'm gonna throw up another video, and this is gonna, Lord willing, be a quick one. And basically, man, the Bishop Inop, the Elder Bishop Inop, back up in Connecticut, he had sent me a video. I don't know if he put the video together or if he got it from somewhere else. I'm not sure. I got to give him a call or text or holler at him. But he sent me a video. It was a beautiful video. And basically, it was just different clips of information and certain clips from movies. And it's like basically, man, we are at the end of this empire. Esau is about to go down. It was an awesome video, man. And in the video, some scriptures, he had quoted some scriptures, which those particular scriptures I'm going to bring out. I'm going to quote them. But every empire, and in the video that he had sent me, my man Dick Gregory, which, he passed away not too long ago. But it's like, I guess this is like shortly before Dick Gregory passed away, he went on one of them other shows, like a talk show, podcast, one of this other Jake, which the other Jake that Dick Gregory was on the show with, I don't know his name offhand, but I've seen some of his shows and videos or whatever, right? I was drinking my beet juice. Anyways, he was asking Dick Gregory, right? This is recently, but he was asking Dick Gregory, what do you do? Yeah, things are getting bad here in America, man. If your eyes are open, you can see that this place is done. Every empire came and rose up in the earth, right? Now, Dick Gregory, this is shortly before he had died, he told this other Jake on the show that he was on. Dick Gregory said this now. Now, Dick Gregory been around a long time. Yeah, but Dick Gregory, he go back to the 60s and the 50s. He was around when Malcolm X, he knew Malcolm X. Dick Gregory, he knew Malcolm X, he knew Martin Luther King, he knew all of them. He go back. So he been around. And I'm pretty sure Dick Gregory came across the Israelites as well. Come on, man. That dude, Dick Gregory, know everything. So I know Dick Gregory knows about the Israelites. I'm pretty sure he probably met some of our elders back in the days. I'm pretty sure there's a good chance Dick Gregory probably could have met High Priest Albert Bivens. He could have met High Priest Yaquab, High Priest Ariah, King Mansha. I'm pretty sure they probably knew Dick Gregory, right? So anyways, Dick Gregory, so I know Dick Gregory know about the Israelites, and I'm pretty sure Dick Gregory probably watched some of our videos or seen us in person. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he probably knew some of our elders. So I know if that was the case, they told him, hey, look, brother, you're an Israelite, blah, blah. Because Dick Gregory, man, now for those of you who don't know Dick Gregory, he was like a comedian / activist. He was a very knowledgeable guy. Old Jake, old dark-skinned Jake, with the white hair, he has like the image of Yahweh Shai, right? So I'm pretty sure Dick Gregory, he's passed on now, because I know he passed away I want to say last year or the year before. Recently, I know he just recently passed away. But anyways, these celebrities and all these celebrities, they know about us, man. And I'm talking about us, the Israelites in particular. And if you really want me to narrow it down, the Great Millstone, a lot of these celebrities, man, they know about GMS, because we're the only Israelite group that really comes through hardcore. The other Israelite groups, they're compromised, man. They're compromised. You see what I'm saying? they're fucking compromised. But either way, right? These celebrities and all these, well, shit, man. The government, they know about us. They know who we are. Come on, man. Tell Pro Crow, I forgot. I can never pronounce that shit properly. Tell Pro Quo or something like that. So you know damn well, Donald Trump know about us. All the previous presidents know about us. Okay, they've known about us for many, many years. The Israelites, so to speak, or as they like to call us, the black Hebrew Israelites, right? They love to, they got to always do that. They always got to add the black, because not all Israelites, yes, I'm going to say it, not all Israelites are black. Okay, we have 12 tribes. That's for starters. We got 12 tribes. Okay. Some Israelite in this world, some Israelites are what you would consider black or black looking, but some Israelites are light skinned. Okay, we got the northern kingdom. I'm from the northern kingdom myself. Okay, and even myself, I don't look like a typical black person because I'm not. Okay, I'm an Israelite. You got the northern kingdom. You got that, right? You got so-called Negroes, but then you got so-called Mexicans. You got so-called Puerto Ricans. You got so-called Dominicans. You got so-called Native American Indians. And they all don't look like, let's say, Dick Gregory himself or Wesley Snipes. Like Apostle Cabal said many years ago in a council back then in the House of David, he said, you guys, a lot of guys in Israel think every Israelite gonna come in looking like Shaft. Now, for you brothers that don't know about Shaft, look it up. Type it in on YouTube. You can find everything on YouTube. Richard Roundtree, he was an actor. It was a movie back in the 70s when around the time I was born, Shaft. Bad movie, I love it. And the actor, Richard Roundtree, his name was Richard, he just passed away recently too. But the movie, a bad movie, he was like a black private detective. This was back in the 70s. He was like the first black hero. You know what I mean? Shaft. He was a no-nonsense, kick-ass. He wore the black leather, he had the slick lines. He was like the real first black hero, right? But he had that, he was the epitome of a Judite. He had the women, he even had white women. He was popping white women, popping black women, in the movie, Shaft. You brothers, look up the movie, Shaft. Remember Sam Jackson redid the movie way later on, but as a matter of fact, Richard Roundtree is in the movie. The Sam Jackson version, the real Shaft is actually in the movie with him. You see what I mean? But anyways, everybody ain't gonna come in looking like a lot of y'all might, the ones of you brothers that know about Shaft or Richard Roundtree, you know what I'm talking about. But to give it to you, okay, you brothers know Wesley Snipes. Not every Israelite is gonna look like Wesley Snipes. You see what I'm saying? Or look like Michael B. Jordan. Y'all know he's a younger guy. You young brothers might know who, Creed. Okay? Not every Israelite woman is going to look like Angela Bassett or look like Beyonce or look like whatever. You see what I'm saying? So you got different tribes, but then also, too, you got Israelites, right, that are amongst the other nations. You got Israelites that look, I got some news for you. You got Israelites that look like Donald Trump. Yeah, I know niggas gonna go crazy on that one, especially the scoffers. Yeah, you got the Israelites that's gonna come looking like goddamn Donald Trump himself. I'm not saying Donald Trump is an Israelite. I said look like him. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you got Israelites that look like that. But the line of their father goes back to Israel, because Israel is scattered amongst the nations. It's in the scriptures. The Bible says that. But this particular kingdom, I want to get back to the main point. America, I don't know how I veered off into that. Hey, the Bible said the spirit is like the wind, right? This place is done. But yeah, Dick Gregory. I started with Dick Gregory and then I went off into something else. But I'm going to home it back now to my original point. Spirit is like that sometimes, brothers. Right? But Dick Gregory, the video that the Bishop Inop sent me, And he was in an interview on a show with this other Jake, and the Jake asked him, what can we do to fix things, basically fix America, or is there a way that we could save things or whatever? Dick Gregory said, nope. So basically, that's how I know Dick Gregory know about us, because we're the only ones teaching that America's gonna be destroyed, that this kingdom is going down. We're the only ones. Not even Minister Farrakhan teaches that. Farrakhan ain't teaching about America being destroyed. Like, he'll talk about the white man. He'll go on his soapbox and get on the white man and blah, blah, blah. Like, even back the Nation of Islam, they talk about, look, man, we want to form our own. They trying to find a way to survive, form their own thing within America. Like, yeah, we need our own separate states for black people and and we need to do our own thing. No, man, it ain't gonna happen that way, bro. All right? The only people that teach about Babylon, America being destroyed, are the Hebrew Israelite brothers. And that varies from camp to camp. You know what I mean? Because some of these other camps, I don't know, man. I don't know. They trying to do like Farrakhan doing. IUIC, they trying to build more schools and communities, and that, like a lot of these other Israelite groups, they pretty much following in the path of the Nation of Islam. Like, they want to make money, they want to floss, they want to try to build their own Israelite, they want to form their own so-called society within America. They want to be rappers, they want to, they want to get the bag. The only Israelite group that's really pushing for the total destruction of America is GMS. And it's gonna be destroyed. But anyways, going back to Dick Gregory on the show with the Jake, I wish there was a way I could show a clip of some of that video, but I can't. Anyways, Dick Gregory said, look, no, it's over. So basically, Dick Gregory, he knew America was gonna be destroyed, bro. He told that other Jake. He's like, man, look, no, it's over. He said, so what? And the Jake asked Dick Gregory, well, what can we do? He said, you can't do nothing. Ain't nothing you can do. And Dick Gregory kind of chuckled. Ain't nothing to be done. It's over. It's over, baby. This place is done. And then my man Dick Gregory said, every society, he said, empire, he said, every empire in the ancient world that rose always fell. Look at history. This is Dick Gregory saying this to the Jake. He said the Romans, the Greeks, the Egyptians. He said they were great empires in their time. They had their time. They might have ruled for a couple of, 200 years and so years, but at some point they all fell. Boom. Boom. See? Remember before the Greeks and the Egyptians, and it's not about color, because the Egyptians were dark-skinned people. The Egyptians were so-called black people, so you can understand. They weren't Israelites, but they were a dark nation, right? They had another nation of color in captivity, the Israelites, us. During the time of Moses and during the time of Joseph, our forefather Joseph, which is the progenitor of the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh, okay, which are the so-called Puerto Ricans and Cubans, right? Anyways, during the time of Joseph and during all the way up until the time of Moses, when Moses came on the scene, the Egyptians were the world power. Egypt was the world power at the time. They had everything on lockdown. Mizraim, that was them so-called Africans. Not Ethiopians, the Egyptians. The Cushites, right? But Mizraim, them so-called Egyptians, right? They were ruling shit. They were running shit for a couple of 100 years. They had everything on lockdown. Egypt was feared. When them pharaohs was in power, Egypt had shit locked down. But what happened? Eventually, Egypt fell. Later on down the line, the Greeks came along, right? Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. I can't leave out the Persians and the Medes. After the Egyptians fell, the Persians and the Medes came into power, right? The Medo-Persian Empire, right? That was Japhet and them East Indians. They had like a co-rulership. But really, Elam, them East Indians, believe it or not, as feeble as them damn East Indians are, back then, they was the Persians. They were a world power. But then the Lord rose up Alexander the Greek, the Esau, to take them down. And then at that time coming against the Persians and the Medes was considered, the Persians that's like some little small nation trying to come against America. But guess what? The Lord rose up Alexander. The Lord was with Esau too, to take them down. And then the Greeks came into power. The Greek Empire, Alexander the Greek he set it off, but then he died early. And then his 4 generals took over, Lacedaemon, Ptolemy, and you know what I mean? And they sparred from that. So the Greeks were in power for a while, but then the Greek Empire went down, and then the Roman Empire, which they were another group of Edomites, right? Very similar. Then the Romans came into power, and the Romans ruled for hundreds of years, right? But eventually Rome fell. Rome imploded in itself, right? Because the Roman Empire, after a while, it split. But then you got to realize, the Romans, they started letting the Israelites into their rulership. Like basically you had Israelites that was joining. After a while, they started letting Jake join the Roman army. And then some of these Jakes that joined the Roman army, Jake was always the warriors, man. So these Jakes, they started getting raising up to generals and high positions, and they started letting Jake join the Roman Senate and all that good stuff. So you had Israelites that was actually in the top generals in the Roman army. So people always think the Romans, they think it's all Edomites. The white man's a liar. See, the scriptures tell you that. John 8:44, what Yahweh Shah said, he is a liar and the father of it. Ye are of your father the devil. When he was talking to niggas, but he was really referring to Esau, right? You see what I'm saying? So yes, when you think about Rome, yeah, there were Edomites in there, but you had a lot of top Jakes, so-called Negroes, black men, that was in high positions in the Roman Empire as it progressed. And then eventually Rome split, a civil war. The Eastern and the Western Roman Empire, I believe it was. And then eventually Rome just fell altogether. And that was a great empire, right? Nobody ever thought Rome would fall. So now America, we got America. Here on the Western Hemisphere, which America is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. Ecclesiastes 1:9, right? You see what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, what was that? Job 20:4? Job 20:5. Now, before I go into that, let me quote Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? We know that's talking about Esau. And as you read on, of course, it says he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. So we know Esau did that, and that's why I brought up the point. People will tell you, you speak of the Roman Empire, they just thought it was all so-called white people involved in there. And not just, remember, you had Israelites in the Roman army, you had other nations too. You had Japhites, because Rome was enslaving everybody. Shit, you probably had Moabites in the Roman army. You probably had, of course, you definitely had Hamites, so-called Africans. You had Israelites, Negroes, you see? Other nations. Just like here, and you can't tell me you'd be lying, just like here in America. Wait a minute, in the police, let's just deal with the police. You got Oriental cops here in America. You got a cop and his ancestry might be Oriental. His ancestry might be East Indian. His ancestry might be from Africa, white cops. Then you got so-called Negro cops. Cops are from the tribes. You got so-called Mexican cops, so-called Puerto Rican cops, Native American cops, right? So the same thing with the army. In Esau's military, you got all kind of different races in the army. If you are a so-called American citizen, you can join the military. You can join the police force. Or if you're not an American citizen, Even if you're from another country, you can become one. You have the opportunity to become. So it was the same thing in Rome. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. Right? The thing that has been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. So all those empires, like Dick Gregory said, all those empires rose and they fell. So basically, Dick Gregory prophesied to that Jake on the show that America's done. You can see it. And then the video that the Bishop Anap sent me, it was bringing out all kind of information, man. The same thing happened when Rome fell. The dollar decreased. There was chaos. There was all kind of shit going on, man. So this place is truly fucking done. It's done. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Now I'm going to go back to Job 20, and I'm going to jump to the 5th verse. The triumphing of the same wicked in the Job, the 9th chapter, the triumphing of the wicked is short. So basically, the wicked Esau, the devil, he's ruling, but it's short. The Lord is about to cut his time short, man. And you know, the scriptures also say what? If the Lord had not cut the time short, there'd be no flesh left to save. And that is so true. Because, brother, the shit that's going on now, the shit brothers, us, we going through, we all will perish. If this devil is not taken down, the majority of the people on the earth would perish. This devil would destroy himself. But y'all can see through the prophecies, watch the news, man. We love it, man. But you know what? That's why we know we're in a time of Jacob's trouble. And that's something I'm going to always keep pushing. You tribes out there, these niggas and these Hispanics, Esau is about to start really coming down on Jake. He's tired. See, he allowed that. He created that. Like that movie, Clone Tyrone. He made these niggas, the food, the GMO foods, the chemicals, the drugs, and just the propaganda programming. He got Jake out here acting crazy. So yeah, Esau is the father of that. But he gonna get what he gonna get. But that's why we be telling these other Israelite groups, man, just prophesy. But they playing games. But you can see this society is done, bro. This society has reached its level of decadence, man. You got women walking around 550 pounds, 600 pounds. That's wicked. Because that goes into the scripture, man. That's not being disciplined. That's gluttony. When you got a human being, especially a female, a woman, that's allowed to sit there and there's no filter, anything goes here. A female that's allowed to just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and gorge themselves on food, and the people around don't check and rebuke that person. And you see yourself getting big and big, and then to the point where you're a goddamn fucking female and you weigh 500 pounds, 600 pounds. Now you're gonna tell me that's righteous? That's righteous. And then you got advocates for that. But a lot of them motherfuckers, when they drop dead, you don't hear nothing. You hear crickets. You know, like that show, My 600-Pound Wife. But that's Esau's society, man. Decadence. Homosexuality. That's promoted. For a man to take it, I don't want to get too graphic, and you'll ride with another, sword fighting with another man. And it's promoted. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, what's wrong? You love who you love. You need to have your goddamn fucking head chopped off, man. You need to be castrated, man. Chopped up into little pieces and burnt. Leviticus 20 and 13? If a man also lie with mankind, they have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. You know what that means? Like Apostle Tahar taught me that breakdown, that you put them to death, however you put them to death, and then afterwards, you're supposed to chop their bodies up and let their blood just mingle all over the body parts, and then burn it with fire. That should be the judgment of a sodomite or a female that does the same. If that type of shit came back in the earth, which is gonna come back in the earth, then we're gonna have order. But that's gonna come back. It is coming back. All right, man? All this tolerance of wickedness, man, you get tired of it. That's why Ecclesiastes 7:7 says what? Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. You get tired of this shit, man. And then you know what? Anybody that, like the scripture says, if you're not with me, you're against me. So all the people that stand around, let's say people, you might not be a sodomite, but if you're the type of person that, I'm not gay, but as long as they don't bother me, I don't care. Let them do what they do. That person need to get the death of a sodomite, because you condoning wickedness, man. You standing around saying it's okay for a man to be a sodomite, right? Or if you standing around talking about it's okay for somebody to be 500 pounds. It's okay for another man to go and commit adultery. I mean, yeah, shit, he hit it. So what? He hit, or he fucked this man's woman. Or I don't care as long as he didn't fuck my woman. But next time it will be your woman. But that's what this empire, this wicked Babylon promotes. But now it's time. Amos 9:8. Hence the video I was going into. The eyes of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob. So hence, this place is going to be destroyed. If you ain't with the Lord, you against the Lord. I don't give a fuck how cool you might be. This place is going down, man. This empire, all great empires rose. I said it, the Babylonian Empire. That was a great empire. It fell. The Egyptian Empire, it rose. It had its time. It fell. The Persians and the Medes, it fell. Greece, the Greeks, they fell. The Romans, they fell. So what the fuck? That's what Dick Gregory was saying. America, so that showed the spirit is in the earth where these people are, starting to realize, America, this is like the new fucking Rome. This is the new Roman Empire. And at some point, you can see, man, the military is fucked up, the government's fucked up, inflation, this place is done, it's gonna fall. Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Sodom and Gomorrah, them wicked cities, they had their time for all their wickedness, but eventually the Lord destroyed it. Eventually the Lord got tired of all this fuck shit that them Hamites was doing, and he destroyed it. He rained fire upon it, man. So you think the Lord, he gonna do the same to America? He gonna rain fire. Bro, we almost out of here, man. All we gotta do is endure to the end. But with that, I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope the video was edifying. I said shalom to all you brothers. Wa akwaf of the hopeful elect. Shalom.